Hello and welcome everyone to the fifth session of HalloCasa. My name is Michael and today I will be hosting Matteo Cera, founder and CEO of Hogaru.com. Hogaru is an on-demand cleaning company for homes and real estate in Colombia. Before we start though, I would like to introduce quickly our Colombia real estate guide. If you watch via Hangouts, you find the link on the right-hand side. If you watch via YouTube, you find the link in the description. Also, if you want to become a member of our live interview community, either as a guest or as a listener, you can click the link in YouTube and we will inform you about new events. So let's start with Matteo. Hello and welcome. Thanks for being with us. So Matteo, why don't you quickly introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Matteo Cera. I'm originally from Italy, working and living in Colombia since about 5 years, and currently leading a company dedicated to professional cleanings of homes and small offices.
Okay, great. That means that Hogaru is dedicating, or you're working with Hogaru in solving a real problem. Quickly, or starting directly with the idea of how did you come up with the idea? Did you see a problem and then start it? And also maybe could you describe the entire cleaning market in Colombia?
Sure. So, well, I came to Colombia about 5 years ago as an expat, and one of the first issues I had was actually to find somebody that I could trust to clean my place when I was not there, which meant almost every day because I was traveling a lot due to my work. About 2 years after being in Colombia, I quit my current job, which was consulting at McKinsey & Company, and I decided to start my own project. I joined a team with another ex-McKinsey colleague called Gonzalo Ucar and Oscar Peña, Colombian robotics engineer. And we basically brainstormed different sectors and found out that basically domestic services was a very large market with strong needs from both sides of the market, so the service provider and the client, the final client. And it was a market that didn't really use technology yet. So we decided to focus on that. We basically had a prototype for about 1 year that was including different verticals of domestic services. And then we decided to focus on cleaning ladies mainly for two issues. One was we were seeing that cleaners were the ones that would most benefit of our job in terms of dignifying and professionalizing their job. So we decided to focus on home cleaning. And the second was the size of the market was the largest. We speak about 800,000 home cleaners in Colombia only, and about 15 million in Latin America. And they all work as freelancers, and 90% of them do not have a contract nor social security. So instead of building a marketplace as everybody does, so lately in the let's call it tech business, we decided to build an actual company, a cleaning company that was hiring and paying full salary and social security to every cleaner. So we don't just put together demand and offer, we actually create a team of selected, trained, and fully employed with social security and managed by technology group of cleaners.
Okay, interesting. So you are a fulfillment company, in fact, and you are also making sure that all the services, the cleaners are complying to certain standards. You most probably, how does it work? You then certify each company, or sorry, each maid, or how does it work?
We hire them.
You hire them and. Okay, you hire them, and then you also make sure that they comply to certain standards. And for example, let's say something gets broken in my house, you're gonna then make sure
Yeah,
that
so we hire them, train them, retrain them every time we receive bad feedback, and we are responsible of the quality of the service, and in case of any damage we respond 100%. So we basically take care of the cleaning of your house in a first person type of manner, not in a third person. So
sure.
we are responsible at the end of the day. If you're not satisfied, we have a 100% satisfied or reimbursed type of policy. And on the other side, we are responsible of finding jobs for the cleaners every day. Otherwise, the cost will be higher than the revenues. So we basically keep recruiting people as long as our demand keeps increasing.
Yeah, so that's actually a very interesting because you mentioned previously the trust issue, like from the from the demand side, and then also the social security issue, because you actually helping both sides. You are helping both the one, okay, I want to have a trustworthy person, and maybe I'm new in this city, I don't know anyone, because until now the market is quite deregulated right now here. And then you also help the Colombian mates by saying, okay, we're gonna pay you a fixed amount, and make sure that you're also not gonna have not like unrelated from the work you're doing. That's very interesting. Okay, so how would you tell us a little bit more about your business? You are in different cities. How many employees do you have? How does it? Maybe also a little bit about your growth strategy or about your next steps.
So we currently operate in three cities: Bogotá, Cali, and Medellin. We have offices in each of them. We have a little short of 120 cleaners and about 150 employees across the three cities. Um, we are currently growing about 21% month over month, and the forecast for 2016 is to close with a team between 400 and 500 people. Um, we are a self-funded company. We started with our own money, and then we looked for some funding, and we achieved a round of financing last year, and we are currently trying to fundraise for expand internationally in neighbor countries like Mexico and Peru. So far, we are fully focused on cleaning. We don't want to start new verticals and start to do crazy other things. We just want to do really well what we learned to do, which is basically selecting and training people to perform very good cleaning in your homes. And yeah, that's what we do. At the end of the day, we are a big facility company with a lot of people to manage at the same time, and we need to comply with certain quality standards.
Sure. And so your customers are mainly expats, or are also a lot of Colombians, obviously, because otherwise you wouldn't have that much of this volume, I guess, who also are very inclined to take that service, I guess.
So 85% of our clients are 15% means like architects, web developers, and so on. We work with expats, but that's not the only focus. We work with thousands of Colombians that just are more aware than their previous generation. That basically, although the cleaning lady is a person that doesn't have an education like them, she deserves to have a good job and full social security. So I think that probably we have 200-300 expats in our client base, and the rest is Colombian families and small offices.
Okay, interesting. So that also means that I would have the advantage if I, for example, have let's say talking about a little bit about real estate. Let's say I'm gonna buy a house here, I'm gonna rent that out, and I could then call you and say, okay, please make sure that every week my apartment is cleaned by one of your providers or one of your mates, if I may say so, and I can even live somewhere in Brazil or in the United States, and I would not have to worry about that. Do I get that correctly?
Yes, we do take care of a lot of rentals and Airbnb and stuff like that. Yes.
That's nice. Okay, that's very interesting because I think this entire property management, property management business and market is increasingly interesting, especially volume-wise. How do you see that yourself?
So it's definitely something that's growing, and I think the market is expanding, and people feel more comfortable in renting these type of apartments. It doesn't fit perfectly our business model because some people are looking for just 1 hour of cleaning or 2 hours of cleaning, and our minimum is 4 hours. However, considering our prices are affordable, especially on an international standard. To give you an example, one 4 hours cleaning is about, at current exchange rate, is about $16, which is compared to US standards is probably half an hour of cleaning. So
Yeah.
if the house owner is foreigner and he wants somebody to take care of the cleaning, I think we are a great option. But sometimes if the owner is local, they will try to find somebody that is happy to clean just for 1 hour or some kind of easy solution without formality.
Sure. Okay. That's very interesting. Coming a little bit back to your personal experience right now here in Colombia. You are living in Bogota. Am I correct?
Yes, I live in Bogota. The first couple of years that I was here, I was not really here in the sense that I I was traveling a lot, and it's about 3 years that I live almost a full week in Bogota.
Okay, interesting. So how do you see, how do you like living in Bogota? What's your experience? Can you recommend that to, because you're from Europe, you're originally from Italy. How do you usually describe Bogota as a city for expats or for foreigners?
Um, so I think Bogota is great to live, at least for some period. It's very welcoming to foreigners, definitely, and it's fairly easy to live in Bogota, and it's probably very cheap right now with current exchange rate. Obviously, there are some issues. Traffic and security are not great, but I guess that security is not as bad as people think, especially compared to other big international cities. In the long run, I think for me it's becoming a little. Um, I'm in front of a decision which is based on, do I want to raise a family in Colombia or not? I think that there are some structural issues about the size of Bogota and the amount of traffic that will somehow influence in a negative way my family for some time. So I think that, as you know, as an expat, foreigner, single is a great place to be. But probably there are better places also in Colombia, like Medellin, to actually raise kids. Hello.
And tips for people who want to buy real estate in Colombia. What would you give for tips?
So um, I bought an apartment about 3 years ago. In a time that prices were really like going up crazy. I bought an apartment because I had some assets in Colombian pesos, and I really just didn't feel cheap. The yield on, so rent versus buying is very high compared to Europe, but we are speaking about 12-15% annually versus probably 2-3% annually in Europe. So at the end of the day, I think that buying an apartment here, it makes sense for people that plan at least 3-4 years in town. Now, obviously, I've been slammed by the current exchange rate, which means that if you sell the apartment now, I will make probably 50% less the money just because of the exchange rate. But that's fine. That's okay. I think that I mean, the advice that I would give to other people is looking for an apartment in an area that they feel comfortable living in. Usually, expats know only Zona G and Zona T, and think that Bogotá goes only from basically Calle 70 to Calle 95. Bogotá is larger. There are nicer areas that just most of them are cheaper than that area and are much better to live. Are much greener. There is less traffic, less congestion.
Okay, great. For example, can you give us an example? Which area do you think is very interesting to live in?
So I live in Pepe Sierra, which is Santa Barbara, which is definitely less crazy than 95, and it has many more parks and so on. A very beautiful area of Bogota is Santana Oriental, which is basically uh, Calle 105 above the Carrera Septima, which is an old neighborhood full of very nice houses. And to mention where we have the office, just below the autopista between Calle 100 and Calle 140, 140, there are lots of very, how do you say, like very nice neighborhoods for families with houses and green and patios and the yards and so on and so forth. Because usually what I see is that expats just see the 2 bedroom flat in Sonate. No, there are lots of options if you move a little bit around. Not much around, a little bit.
Okay, interesting. So you would also suggest this area to invest in, or would you suggest different areas for someone who wants to invest in Colombia or in Bogota? What would you, if you had, for example, another bunch of I don't know, like a bunch of money, where would you invest your in the next real estate property in?
Um, so I'm not sure I would invest right now in Bogota. I think we are somehow on the verge of a collapse or of a stabilization. I think that basically the prices have gone up for many years. Now the market is less hot. There are less transactions. So um, either the owners will accept to be paid less, or probably there will be less and less transactions until the prices will go down.
Okay, interesting. And concerning the real estate buying process, what was your experience? And maybe can you give some tips to someone who might be interested to buy in Colombia some real estate?
Um, I guess probably to be advised by somebody that some kind of agente inmobiliario, and not do the thing by themselves. The process is not hard, but it's definitely not straightforward. So I would say it's really like I think it's really good for the person to be advised. So get a real estate agent and let them drive through the paperwork and all of that.
Okay, so you went by an agent. You usually went by an agent. Is there an agent you can advise? You can suggest?
No, not really. I don't remember her name. I should look.
Okay, perfect. So now to our closing questions. Things you like the most about Colombia and things you like the least.
Um, so I guess I learned here to appreciate family in a way that probably in Europe we have forgotten, or at some point we didn't appreciate that much. And so I really like the way that Colombians care about each other and care about their families. Probably the thing that I like less is the non-directness of people. Here they try always to come out with excuses or justifications in order not to, to be direct and just to tell the truth. And that's something that hurts me sometimes, especially in my job.
Okay, great. Well, Matteo, thank you very much for
All
the
right.
interview, and have a good evening. Bye bye.
Great. Thank you. Bye bye.